and welcome to Razz Reviews. This video is part of my Oscar special where I'm going to be reviewing this year's best film nominees. And today I'm going to be reviewing Arrival. Arrival is a science fiction film that follows the story of a linguistics expert, played by Amy Adams, whose job is to establish communication with aliens who have just landed on Earth. This film is directed by Denis Villeneuve, who also directed Sicario and Prisoners. I am personally a big fan of Prisoners. I think it's one of the most underrated movies ever. So going into this film I had high expectations because the director is so talented and does such beautiful work. So going into this film I had very high expectations, and I must say that I enjoyed Arrival a lot and I found it to be very intriguing. So let's begin and start talking about the top 3 things that I liked about Arrival. Number 3, the visuals. This film looked absolutely gorgeous. I really liked the cinematography, I thought it was beautiful, and I really liked the production design and the design of the aliens and their spaceship. I thought it was very unique and refreshing, and I really enjoyed it and found it to be very creative. And even though you expect from a film like this to be big and huge, it's still filmed in a very confined small space, and I found it very interesting and claustrophobic. It helped increase the tension of the film, and it helped establish the mood of these people who are under pressure to establish communications with these creatures. So you felt the anxiety and you felt the pressure that was on the characters, which was very interesting, and it was established very well. The number 2 thing I liked was the sound. This film has very unique sound design that I don't think is going to get appreciated much except for people who pay attention to this kind of stuff. A lot of times in science fiction, the sound design becomes larger than life because it's trying to manipulate you into feeling a certain way. It tries to make you feel anxious or feel the pressure or the tension of the science fiction world. However, the sound design here felt a lot more subtle, and it felt like it was organic, like it came from the world of the film, and it really helped establish the mood. This is mostly evident in the scenes where the humans and the aliens are trying to communicate, and the sound design in those scenes is pretty masterful. I really liked it when the score came in, and I also liked it when the score wasn't there. Those big moments of silence were really important to the film and really important for the mood of the film. So it was a very successful film in terms of sound design. The number 1 thing I liked about Arrival was the script. This is a loaded topic because I liked a lot of things about the script of Arrival. I think the most powerful thing about the whole movie is the script. Starting from the concept itself, where these humans are trying to communicate with creatures that don't use language as a form of communication. So the film studies the art of communication itself, and it's a very powerful concept to talk about and think about. Also, this story is being told in sort of a non-conventional, non-linear way, and it's really interesting. In the beginning it feels a little mysterious, but once the story starts to unfold further and you kind of figure out what is going on, it catches you by surprise and you're like, oh, okay, that's what that means. And I found that to be very interesting and unexpected. I didn't feel the plot twists that eventually came coming. And this is a really strong way of script writing and storytelling, where you try to tell the story in a different way, from a different angle. I've stated previously that what I like about science fiction is when films start asking questions about humanity itself. When trying to discover things about another race or another world, we start discussing things about ourselves and discovering things about us as a human race. And it's a very powerful concept, and it's always nice to study. This film is more contained and small. Don't expect an Independence Day here. It's more science than fiction, and it's more about us as human beings. It's kind of like Contact, but better, and it's also kind of like Signs, but better. The script also has a bunch of twists and turns, so the film kind of needs processing. You don't really know what to make of it when it first ends. However, it needs a few rewatches later for you to kind of grasp what you just saw. This movie wasn't a perfect film, so let's start talking about the top 3 things I didn't like about Arrival. Number 3, Jeremy Renner's character. I like Jeremy Renner a lot, and he's a great actor, and his character was interesting in this film. However, from midway onwards, I felt like his character was kind of unnecessary. His relationship with Amy Adams didn't seem that interesting to me, and also him as a character didn't seem to contribute much to the cause later down the line. Even he himself comments on it saying like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And I, as an audience member, felt the same way. What are you doing here? You're not really contributing much. So I felt like he was there just so we can have someone for Amy Adams to interact with, and just to have somebody who gives us some exposition. And I don't like characters that mostly serve as exposition. I like characters that are important, that I feel that are necessary for the story. The number 2 thing I didn't like was the pacing. The tension was very high, which was really cool, but sometimes the film slowed down a little bit too much and can kind of get boring. There were a lot of unnecessary scenes, and there was a lot of exposition scenes where just characters sit around and explain stuff. They wouldn't have this conversation if there wasn't a camera and an audience watching them. So those scenes didn't really work for me, and also we spent a lot of time before we got into the action, before we got to any plot progression. The number 1 thing I didn't like about Arrival was the aliens' purpose. Throughout the marketing campaign of the film and throughout the film itself, the big question is, why are they here? But like I said, the film focuses a lot about the humans, and towards the end of the film, the focus becomes more about the humans and less about why the aliens are here. And the reasoning behind all of that didn't really make sense to me, and I didn't feel like it was strong enough. It's possible that I need to go rewatch the film so that I can kind of grasp the justification that we are given at the end, but coming out of the film, I didn't feel satisfied with that answer, and I thought it was very important to be satisfied by that answer because that was the big question that was asked in the beginning. And that's why it's my least favorite thing about the film. I came out of the film liking it a lot, but still asking myself like, I don't feel like that made a lot of sense. So all in all, I thought Arrival was an intriguing and very unique film. And it's definitely one of the better science fiction films to come out in the last couple of years, and I really enjoyed it. Even though some of it didn't work for me, overall I found it to be very good, and for that I'm gonna give it an 8. I don't know what its Oscar chances are, but if I have to say something is a strong competitor, it would definitely be the script and the sound design. So, have you seen Arrival? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comment section and share with me your Oscar predictions. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to always tell me what else you would like me to review for you next. See ya!